In the years before the War of 1812, the rivers and lakes were the vital transportation routes through Upper Canada. This is how the British shipped their troops and supplies to far-flung strategic outposts. As Anglo-American relations deteriorated, the British sought to control the Great Lakes. The focus was Lake Ontario at a place today called Toronto. It was easily defended, was home to a naval base, and a safer haven for the capital of Upper Canada, which John Graves Simcoe, the first governor, had named York.
And he was a very experienced military leader who had distinguished himself with the British Army in the American Revolutionary War. When he arrived after the Constitutional Act of 1791 to be this new lieutenant governor, the Queen's representative in the province of Upper Canada, they were drawing upon his military expertise.
Simcoe established the town deep in the harbour and protected its entrance with a fort. A gun battery was set up on the opposite peninsula.
The Garrison Creek entered Lake Ontario just to the east of the present fort. There was elevated ground on both the east and the west banks of the creek. John Graves Simcoe pitched his tent with his wife Elizabeth on the east side of the creek on elevated ground, but he constructed huts for the soldiers on the present site of Fort York here on the west side of the Garrison Creek.
When the log barracks disintegrated, a new fort was based on the east side of the creek, and in 1800, Government House was built on the west side. Simcoe's concerns had been well-founded. He'd been gone from the New World only a few years when tensions escalated, and war was declared in 1812. Much of the early fighting centered on Niagara, but the Battle of York loomed. The Americans had their sights fixed firmly on Fort York's British Naval Yard. On April the 27th, 1813, an American squadron of 14 warships and 1,700 men set out across Lake Ontario and attacked.
They met heavy resistance there from the British Army, which included native allies and the militia. They forced the British Army to retreat. They burnt the Russell Fort, the larger fort on the east side of the Garrison Creek, but they also burnt all the buildings on this side, the present site of Fort York, and that included the burning of the Lieutenant Governor's house.
As they retreated to Kingston, the British blew up the Grand Magazine, cutting down hundreds of American troops. The Americans occupied the town and torched the Parliament buildings. The church at York became a makeshift hospital, the rector, John Strachan, saving the British regimental colours by burying them under the church. He and the local militia were left to negotiate the terms of surrender.
Later on in the War of 1812, the British Army attacked Washington, D.C., burned the Houses of Congress in direct retaliation for the burning of our Parliament buildings, and then they burnt the White House in direct retaliation for the burning of the Lieutenant Governor's house here at Fort York.
For more information, visit our website on topoftheworld.net.